So once we have the 4 brain waves on the screen, we can go through data analysis. In the data analysis, we grab the I-beam cursor, and all we simply do is highlight the first segment from 0 to 10 seconds, and then we're able to read the data from the computer screen. For our second set of data, we go from 10 to 20 seconds, and that's why we have our markers on the screen so we know where our data starts and finishes. And then for the third section of data, we highlight from the 20 seconds to the 30 seconds, and we read the data from the screen. Once we have our standard deviation data, then we can go and record our frequency data for each brainwave. In order to do that, we want to look at one brainwave at a time on the screen. So on the keyboard, we're going to hold down the Alt key, and we're going to get rid of the brainwaves that we don't want to focus on. So we want to start with the lowest frequency, so we want to get rid of the higher frequencies first. So we're going to hide the alpha, which was green. We're going to hide the beta, which was blue. And we're going to hide the theta, which was red, and that leaves us the delta brainwave that we can focus on. In order to measure frequency, we have to be able to measure what's called a wavelength. The wavelengths are either peak to peak or trough to trough. So I'm going to take my magnifying glass, and we want to make sure that we do this in the first segment. That's our control segment. So I want to magnify from the 0 to 10 second data couple times here so that I can see peak to peaks and trough to troughs so that I can measure the wavelength data. Once I can see peaks and troughs, I'm going to grab my I-beam cursor again, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight. I think I'll do this peak here to this peak here. And then what we can do is we can gather our frequency data from the frequency measurement on the screen. Now we would do this 3 times and then average that out to make sure that we have an accurate number for the frequency data for delta. Once we're done recording delta, we would go ahead and hide the delta wave and then bring up the theta wave and go through the process again where we measure 3 peak to peaks or 3 trough to troughs, 3 wavelengths, average it out, and then move on to alpha and then beta recordings.